Trump and Powell meet. We'll go over the big things that was said. I'll tell you, there's no love lost between the two. We'll talk price action of some of our favorites. BTC conference talks about big players getting into strategic reserves along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
We got a mix of red and green up on the screen as yes, we're still in the friend zone, but the news goes on because the big news is Trump and Powell meet. What did they discuss? Well, I'll go over it, but before we get into that, your comments. Why? Well, it's easy. You, the viewer, matter most. Why do you think I do this when I don't even feel 100%? Outdoor Nature Show says, bid to buy Circle now shows $31 when you actually plug in the numbers. I'm telling you, this might be one of the hottest IPOs of the year. Let me know down below if you've got your request in. I've got mine in. Manny Gamin says, chop tequila shots for Thirsty Thursday. I'm on full restriction. I'm not even allowed to work out, so please have a shot for me, have a few tasty bong rips, do a few eddies, a few ladders, whatever it is that you prefer, do one for me because I can't do anything other than do videos and lay on the couch. It sucks balls. Stephen Ridley says, great explanations of the market, buddy. Making the complicated simple. I'm here to bring you the news, good, happy, or sad, and explanations on the crazy that's happening. You want to do the heat map? Fuck no, let's skip it today. Why? Because the Sultan of Solana is now the Prince of Prison. Sorry, I just thought I would share that with y'all today. I'm just kind of feeling a little bit saucy. Let's get into that news and talk about our favorites. Pi coin, iced $314. What? You're at 70 cents. What the fuck is wrong with some of you retards out there?
I'm retarded?
Pakistan unveils strategic Bitcoin reserve and a national wallet at the BTC 2025 event.
Surprise, Daddy! We're in Pakistan! I thought we could go sow some soccer balls together!
Lots of things came out of this BTC event, so let's get into it. At the 2025 BTC conference in Vegas on May 28th, Bilal bin Sadib, head of Pakistan's National Crypto Council, declared that the country has established a BTC reserve. Okay. They declared that they are now making this decision. The government is shifting its previous stance, where officials had previously rejected cryptocurrency as a legal option. Interesting. At this event, they revealed the establishment of the first sovereign Bitcoin wallet. He clarified that the assets would not be used for speculation or trading, right? Because gambling would be bad, according to them. We will be holding these Bitcoins and we will never, ever sell them. Well, then what the hell are you ever gonna do with them? Like, you just gonna look at them? They don't display cool. Like, you just gonna, mount BTCs on your shit? You gotta do something with them. The strategic reserve mirrors the United States' recent initiative under the Trump administration. In March, Trump proposed the U.S. digital Fort Knox. Fuck, Trump proposed it, but we haven't heard shit from it since. I don't want to cover that because that'll just piss me off. Either way, you got another player getting into the strategic reserve asset thing. Pretty cool. What else do we got? Oh, for some of you football fans and fans across the pond, a little Paris Saint-Germain wants to get into it as well. PSG becomes the first football club to integrate the BTC reserves as well, aligning with young crypto awareness fan base. I think this is actually a pretty good move because it's right. You got younger fans that are into crypto. It kind of lines up with the demographics. Let's get into it. We are the largest player in the sports ecosystem to do that. Emphasized Par Helgoson, head of PSG Labs, highlighting the club's pioneer role. The announcement at the Bitcoin 2025 conference. For real, there was a lot of cool stuff that came out of the conference. Except the dancing fucking cows was cringe AF. Did you see that? Come on, that was cringe. The announcement at the conference in Vegas is a significant milestone not only for PSG, but for the sports industry as a whole. This innovative move demonstrates PSG's strategic alignment with the evolving financial landscape and the preferences of its predominantly young fan base. With 80% of its 500 million fans under the age of 34, the club is keenly aware of its importance of adapting new financial trends. I like this because they are aligning with their fan base. And I do think it's smart to park your cash somewhere other than cash. Why? Because inflation is killing cash right now. So you got to park your money somewhere else. Now, Pakistan is like, yo, we're never ever going to sell it or trade it. Well, then what are you going to do with it? Like, I guess I need to see what the angle, I mean, like, if you're not going to sell it, if you're not going to trade it, you're going to collect it? I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you look behind me, like, especially when I do my intros, I've got, like, walls and walls of, like, PSA 10s, PSA autos, Cardist cards from Super Mario Bros. 3. I got Pokemon cards. I got all sorts of cool stuff. Dude, obviously, I'm going to sell them at some time, and then I'm going to use them to buy something cool. I got tons of gold. I got tons of silver. I got tons of stuff locked up in safety deposit boxes. When I want to, I'm going to liquidate them and buy other cool stuff with them. Maybe I'll end up buying myself a Carrera 4S one of these days. I don't know. I'm not just going to sit there and hold on to them. Maybe I'll pass some of the stuff on to my kids, but no, screw the kids. I'm going to get myself something cool. My point is you got to do something with it, right? Right. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Trump and Jerome Powell. Asshole Powell is like, yo, I'm not cutting rates. Trump criticizes the Fed in a private meeting with Powell. Uh-oh. The Federal Reserve said that Jerome Powell met with Donald Trump Thursday. Hey, that's today. That's breaking news. That's why you hit the subscribe button. At the president's invitation at the White House, and said that the president told the central bank boss that he's making a mistake by not lowering rates. We all think you're making a mistake, Powell. Powell's waiting for the data. He's going to be behind yet again. The United States is going to be behind in fiscal policy, and it sucks. The face-to-face encounter follows months of Powell's criticism from Trump. Trump has said that Powell is stupid. The Fed sent in a statement that Powell met the president to discuss economic developments, including growth, employment, and inflation. Powell, according to the Fed, did not discuss his expectations for monetary policy, except to stress that the path of the policy will depend entirely on the incoming economic information and what it means for the outlook. Again, if you wait for the data, you're already behind. Sometimes, Jerome, you need to be ahead of things. Do you remember when all of us were like, yo, inflation is getting wild. Maybe we need to raise rates. This is when the pandemic and the Rona were happening. And Jerome's like, no, we're not going to do it. And then out of nowhere, remember, Jerome hit us with the 75. And we're like, you fucking idiot, what are you doing? And then we're like, yo, Jerome, you need to cut rates. And he's like, no. And we're like, no, Jerome, you need to cut. And then the European Central Bank is like, yo, we're going to cut rates 7 times in a row. Yeah. Dude, Jerome, you're always behind. Jerome Powell would have been a great Fed president. A great Fed head for like the early 2000s, late 90s. He's just out of touch with how fast the world moves right now. The world moves so quickly, all right? Everyone's got internet. Everyone's got at least 4G, 5G, G-Unit, some form of G. And with information moving this quickly, you gotta act faster. So where Jerome is like, we're waiting for confirmation on the data. Sometimes, Jerome, you need to be the tip of the spear, the one making the decision. So here we go. Trump again criticizing Powell. So you know what Powell's gonna do. He ain't gonna cut rates. Why? That's his way of fighting back at who? Trump-pedo. All right, overall in the crypto market, we're kind of losing steam with the altcoins. BTC's holding its value a little bit better. Even though BTC's starting to slide, it's starting to slide less than the rest of the alts. If you look at the altcoin index right now, we were doing pretty good here. Yeah, we were on May 9th. Okay, we're an altcoins season index of 43, which is good. That means there were a lot of cryptos that were doing better than BTC, and now we've slid on down to 24. Your fart coins, your pays, your whiffs, your curves, your pendles, yeah, your bonks. Those are doing better than BTC. Our favorites, our utilities, our XRPs, our XLMs and all that, we're not doing better than BTC right now. That's why you got the score now of 24 out of 100. Volume for the crypto market, high. I wish I was, but I can't. Like I told you earlier in the video, I'm on full restriction. I don't even know if I'm allowed to take a walk right now. They told me basically sit around the house and do nothing because I'm having more complications. This really sucks, by the way. Volume, 160 billion. Who's making money? Exchanges. Yeah, sucks. Let's talk XRP price. Why? Well, because XRP is one of the ones that's faring the best since the November pumperoni. Why is this important? Because if you look at the ETH chart, if you look at a bunch of other players out there, they've struggled to maintain key price levels, where XRP is definitely maintaining the $2+ mark since. Now, if you go to the 7-day chart, you're like, ooh, we've definitely slid into the friend zone, and I know that sucks. Now, price targets. Gotta be honest with you. Unless we get some big macro news, we're going to be in this zone for quite a while, maybe with a little bit more degradation. Now, granted, there has been some news recently that's been good in regards to XRP specifically, but macros are still a bigger factor overall to the global market than the specific XRP news. Look, 128 million of buying for XRP is not going to offset Jerome Powell being a prick. Some people buying $10 million of XRP is not going to offset rates staying higher for longer. Some players buying some XRP is not going to offset the fact that inflation still sucks balls. So, XRP needs the global macros to turn around in order for it to really start moving. What caused the biggest pumperoni of XRP as of late? Change in the political atmosphere in the United States. What's going to be another big catalyst for XRP when we get some regs? When are the regs discussions going to start? June 10th. Yes, that's when the House starts talking about regs for the rest of the crypto market. And I'm not talking about the stablecoin bill. I'm talking about regs for this big blob aroni up on the screen right here. So, Pi coin eyeing a price of 314. Retard alert! Yeah, because you're at 70 cents. XRP breaking out of the friend zone. Look, we need something big. We need something big in the macro world in order to get us out of there. All right? The news that's been as of late is good news. But what do we need? We need juicy macro stuff. Who holds the keys to that castle? The prickola up on the screen right now. And guess what? Him and Trump ain't friends, and he ain't cutting rates, most likely until September. So yeah, full restriction. I make some videos, I do some comments, I play some video games, I nap with the dogs. Rinse and repeat. It's just like the crypto market right now with playing the dips and the tips. Yeah, how much fun is this? It's really not. But it means I get to bring you the news all day long because I can't train it all. That's why my race season for 2025 is basically canceled. If you follow me on Twitter, you would have known that. So, my Twitter information is linked down below. Now, the Sultan of Solana is now the Prince of Prison. I thought that was pretty clever. Thank you very much. Now, in terms of the news in regards to XRP and the altcoins, for real, we need the regs. We really do. The reason the players are getting into BTC is because BTC is a commodity. Just like gold, it's just like silver. It's the free pass. And the alts, right, the rest of the crypto market needs the regs, right? Once we get those regs, then the banks, then all these other players can really dive deep into this and go, okay, we've got the protection. We've got the regs. We feel safe. Because here, think about it this way, okay? Everything that's protecting crypto right now is based on executive order. And let's be real here. You can always get the next El Presidente to come in, and you see the lights flickering? It's because we got a storm going on. We could always get the next El Presidente to come in with new executive orders that could undo the current El Presidente's executive orders, which would then what, everyone? Yeah, make us all back into a big poop sandwich again. So, that's why we need crypto regs. That's why companies are staying away from the alts, because there's no golden pass for the alts because they're not looked at as commodities. So, that's where we stand. So choo-choo what? Hold on, I'll put the sign on for you. Why? Because I care. No, see, I didn't plug it in because I'm a moron. See, that's how you can tell I'm not 100%. See, look, I'm hitting the light. I didn't plug it in. Why didn't I plug it in? Because I have heating pad in. Because I'm stupid. So, choo-choo what? Choo-choo biz nachos. I forgot to plug it in. There you go. Me filming live with mistakes.